Hello, Saber people. I have another commission build breakdown for you. This is Louis LGT Starkiller, which has had a complete overhaul. Originally, when this came to me, it had a couple of loose components rattling around inside. The crystal no longer lit up, and I believe there were some problems with the speaker as well. There was a couple issues kind of with this one, which were personally, I think, just a result of the kind of the installs that LGT do. I don't think they're particularly durable. The cores they build aren't really designed to last, and also the button up here had been stripped. I think the core was removed and it caught buttons on the way out and things like that, so it was totally broken. Needed to do a complete rejig of everything, and so we did firstly a repair job on the broken pieces, replacing the broken switches. Then did a brand new chassis design in order to accommodate a larger speaker and also more securely hold the components inside. So if I just open this guy up, unscrews in the middle here, you can see the chassis. Because of the very, very slim inner diameter of this hilt, it's kind of just about getting everything to fit. So you can see there's a Proffieboard up top, tucked away in there, angled. You can reach your SD card and the micro USB port. I did find that the Proffieboard, when I pulled this out of the original install, a lot of the ports have been covered up with glue, so I had to soak the board a little bit to remove some of the glue, but it's all still working, it's all fine, it was nothing conductive, so we're all good. But I did have to strip off some of the glue, clean up all the solder joints, pull out the crappy wires they used, because a bunch of the wires were caught where they'd been pinched as well and stripped, and it was a nightmare. But it's all fully clean now. All the wires are totally hidden, save for those two down there to the speaker. And it's a good solid chassis. It's locked in, it's not going anywhere. The chassis itself is held in place with this retention screw up here, and then it's held onto the crystal chamber with a threaded screw that came with the kit. I did have to order a few extra screws of different sizes because some of their grub screws were too long, they were chewing into the chassis and all sorts of stuff, so I had to get some replacement screws as well as replacement switches. But to go through the individual components, you've got a Shtok V3 Neopixel emitter up top, the long pin with a lens cap as well. The only thing I don't like about this top section is that you can see the pins through that gap, just because of how little room we have to play with. Unfortunately, the pins are sticking up just ever so slightly, but when the blade's in, you can't see it, so it's all good. There is a Neopixel 50/50 accent under the crystal, which has been swapped from the one that came with the kit for one that is a real quartz. I had to grind that one down to get it to fit in the very, very skinny crystal holder, but we got there eventually. A new tactile switch on the back that's nice and responsive. Proffieboard 2.2 from the original build. A new kill switch has been added, and then the battery terminals obviously, and then down the bottom we've got these Shtok speaker pins, because one of the things that Louis wanted for this one was a louder speaker. Now the speaker that came with it was, I think, possibly 22mm, teeny tiny little thing, but now through the use of something I've not done before, it's a first for me, is a removable speaker pod. You can see down inside there the PCB that makes contact. The speaker lives permanently inside the pommel. You can unscrew the pommel, but you wouldn't really ever need to, I don't think. Just to show this off a little better, there's the speaker pod and the speaker points that way. So this is now a 28mm speaker instead of a 22, so it's a lot louder, a lot more bassy. If we had more room, I'd have set the speaker higher up into the chassis so you get a better resonance chamber. Unfortunately, like I said, the hilt is really short and really thin, so we just had to make do with what we got, but the improvement on the previous configuration is massive. So I'm going to chuck a battery in it, fire it up, and then we'll show off some fonts. You've got 39 fonts on here, which is insane. It's a huge number of fonts. They've all got their own unique blade styles where possible. I've tried to make as many of them as unique as possible. I think we're up to 96% full on the flash memory for the Proffieboard, so there's not much room for anything else. But they do all have relatively unique blade styles, a whole bunch of different colors. So hopefully this saber does everything you could want it to. When you put the battery in, I just want to flag the positive end points up towards the Proffieboard, the negative end points downwards towards the speaker. That's nipple upwards, flat side downwards. And when you put it in, you'll see the kill switch just under the Proffieboard. If you can't reach it with a finger because the SD card's in the way, just flick it with something. I'm going to use an Allen key to do it. Flick it. You won't get any boot sounds because obviously the speaker lives in the pommel and is not connected when we boot it up. But what you will see is the crystal lighting up. So the crystal does different things for every single sound font pretty much. It flickers, it flashes, it's got the flash on clash, everything like that. I've enabled the gesture controls for you as well, like you requested. It's a one button setup using the FET263 button prop, which I will send you, but once the saber is booted, you can just slide the lower piece back on and screw that into place. Make sure it doesn't need to be super tight, just get it like snug, and then off we go. So the crystal flickers, matches the blade style.
You will never escape me. I'm ready.
I am no Jedi.
Chuck a blade in. This is a 1-inch blade. And screw this one at the top. In theory, the only grub screw you would ever need to change now is this top one, which holds the blade. So when you're putting it in, just kind of lower the blade into place, gently depress the pins, and then tighten the screw, obviously not massively tight. It's got all the features you could want.
Ascension. Fulfill.
Codex of Light.
The dark sword. You have never fought. You have hates. You will be You are.
I'm the Jedi.
This is a fun one. So yellow crystal, and it's got the ignition flash on boot, which of course the crystal matches. All the usual Proffie 2.2 features, flash on clash, blaster deflect, everything you could ever want. I have disabled the color change on some of these because I find that it sometimes breaks the link between the crystal color and the blade color. So a lot of the fonts don't have the color wheel enabled, but what you can do is plug this into a computer, fire it up through the web USB connector, and make any edits to any of the sound fonts there. They're all named, they're all listed. A lot of the fonts have appropriate tracks as well. See if I can remember how to do this with one button. I think it's a double press. There we go. So all the canon sound fonts, things like from the movies and games, they all have appropriate matching tracks. Because a lot of the fonts on here are just the ones that come as standard from LGT, they didn't have tracks, but I have added some in where possible. Yeah, I mean...
Your destiny lies with me, Skywalker.
Not sure what else there is to say, really. It's a pretty sturdy build. It's a damn sight better than it was before. I hope you're happy with it. If you've got any questions, any concerns, anything you've seen in this video that looks out of the ordinary, do give me a shout. I think I've covered pretty much everything. Obviously, it being the Starkiller hilt, you've got the Starkiller fonts first, 2 blue, 1 red, and then all the other fonts loaded on there afterwards. There's a whole bunch of unique blade styles on here. Maybe let's try and find one more unique one.
Hatred. Idol.
The map to Skywalker.
Hello, Ren.
We know you found it. And now you're going to give it to the First Order.
You have an unstable blade. Yeah, I mean, bog standard. This is one of the first times I've actually done a complete gut and reinstall of an LGT hilt. I've done plenty of repairs on them in the past, and I've worked on quite a few TXQ hilts as well. But this is the first time where I've taken an LGT hilt, stripped everything out of it. And I've got to say, they're not very designer or installer friendly. You can very much tell that they're kind of built to be put together once and then never opened again, never repaired, which is a shame because the hilt itself is nice. They're a really good kind of budget entry-level option into saber collecting. And it seems really sad that you would let it down by putting poor quality electronics inside. But you know, we made the best out of the situation that we had. The saber absolutely rips now, it's fantastic. I'm really happy with the end result. A lot of first times for me, first time angled Proffieboard, first time speaker pod, removable speaker connector, but everything works great. I'm really happy with the outcome and hopefully you are too, Louis. If anything comes up, give me a shout. But if not, I will get this packaged up and shipped out to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, everybody. May the force be with you, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.